Though, probably, to someone this way is quite suitable, recent scientific studies indicate that the struggle for the happiness of many people will have the opposite effect, causing stress, loneliness and personal failures. The study in particular explains why during important occasions, such as birthday, Christmas, or New Year, we often feel disappointed and tired. But the findings also help scientists to understand what we need for a long-lasting pleasure from life and what goals you need to put yourself to achieve it. As noted, it inspired numerous motivational books that filled the shelves of American bookstores in the last few decades. Many of them, happiness was the indispensable condition of being, almost a duty of every person. People start to set yourself some high standards, they believe that they should be happy all the time, they want some extraordinary sensation of happiness and reaching, disappointed in myself. He also thought, and cannot even a simple question to yourself, happy/IA. To cause a complex of inferiority and to hinder the sensations that you're actually trying to achieve. Together with psychologists Maya Tamer, Nicole Savino and Craig Anderson, Moss tried to test this idea in several studies. The researchers asked participants to rate whether each of the following statements. For this, one half of the participants were asked to read an article about the importance of happiness and the other similar post on the benefits of rational judgment without any reference to emotions. The result again was paradoxical. The group that read about the importance of happiness has received less pleasure from watching the film, practically raised them up, unlike the control group, which read the article is not about emotions. It seems that the article about happiness increased participants' expectations about what they ought to feel emotional watching the tape. And instead just enjoy the film, they began to doubt, know their feelings are to the required standards. You probably know the feeling when during an important event like a wedding or amazing trip of a lifetime, you suddenly do not feel happy. The more expectations you have, the greater the disappointment. Scientists have found that the pursuit of happiness makes you focus on yourself and your own feelings, instead enjoy socializing with the people around. But that's not all. Another study, published in the beginning of last year, showed that the persistent pursuit of happiness has another unfortunate consequence. It makes us feel that the time inevitably slips away. These findings allowed us to do an experiment in which participants were asked to list 10 things that make them happy in life. For example, spend time with family and so on. But instead promote an optimistic feeling. The opposite question upset people by making them feel how little time they have on all of these things in life. But when participants were asked what makes them happy at the moment, the negative reaction was not. And therefore the problem obviously lies in the desire to become happier. In fact, the study authors explained that happiness is not a constant. To achieve the highest grades is very difficult, but even then there is the desire to extend that feeling. Happiness is transformed from something nice, than I can enjoy right now at a heavy load that I have to work more and more, says psychologist Sam Mullier from the University of Toronto. It turns out that the advice Elizabeth Gilbert, without stopping to float up to the top of happiness to stay in it forever, makes us actually less happy. However, the conclusions of these studies do not mean that to treat serious mental disorders such as depression is not necessary. Although this should seek professional help, this does not mean that we should abandon important decisions that can really improve life. For example, to break a relationship where there is physical or moral violence. Sometimes we really need to focus on our immediate happiness. The scientist also draws attention to the negative impact of social networks. After looking at embellished and emphasized the happy lives of others, we begin to dream of a happier and more interesting life. Moss also notes that, as confirmed by many studies, people who accept negative feelings, rather than constantly fight them, in the end, more satisfied with their lives. When you most want to be happy, you are beginning to condemn and despise himself for feelings that are not compatible with your idea of happiness, explains the researcher. That's why she advises to treat life's ups and downs with great stoicism. Don't try to avoid negative things and to realize that they, too, were. For example, to do good works or keep a gratitude journal. First of all, if these things make you feel happiness right here and now. More about this you can read in the article.